All right. Welcome to the TSG Multimedia video podcast for November 1st. This is John sitting with
Dan.
And we're looking at a Boxcar.
Yeah, this is a model of a Santa Fe BX116 Boxcar. I'm not actually sure who made this. It might be Intermountain. I'm not sure, though, because I got this car, I think, third hand. It came to me from a friend who got it off eBay, I think. And it's got some cosmetic problems, but that's not really what I was here to talk about. And the reason I'm even interested in salvaging this car, considering it's somewhat damaged, is because it does seem to be a fairly decent model of a Santa Fe BX116 from pictures that I've seen.
Right.
So I think it could be improved into a fairly decent model. But it has one major problem right now, and that's the couplers.
Okay. Oh, did we mention it's HO scale?
Right,
Yeah.
HO scale.
It'll be apparent once you start grabbing at it and stuff, right?
Right. Okay, so this car should have a cushion underframe, which means that the coupler pockets stick out from the body a bit. And I don't know why, but apparently someone had cut off the original cushion coupler pockets and then glued on Katie coupler boxes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the problem is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is only got maybe about about an eighth of an inch of gluing surface area here holding it to the car. The other one has already fallen off on the other end.
I was going to say, it seems like it wouldn't stay on very long, especially if you put stress on it.
Yeah, if you put this in a train, it would last about 5 seconds.
Maybe they were trying for a really short train.
Yeah, I mean, this will break off really easily. So I want to fix it. So this is the broken end, and you can see what I mean. There really isn't much to work with here. So what I intend to do with this car is I have some Details West cushion coupler pockets, and I want to mount one of those on here. This is part of it, and it actually mounts in a little bit like this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to cut this back, and then this will screw on, which is a lot more secure than just having it glued. And hopefully that'll fix it. Okay, so this car happens to have Caddo trucks on it, which I know aren't the originals, but that's okay.
How did you deduce that?
Well, Caddo doesn't make a box car like this. Like I said, I'm not sure about the brand. I think it might be Intermountain, but don't quote me on that because I may be wrong.
Isn't there somewhere on a car like this where you could find that? Like,
it doesn't say anywhere that I've seen.
Seems like it would say somewhere, like made in China for someone or...
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, so I'm going to have to figure out where to cut this. I was looking at photos of this car, and I think this little piece with the notches should be about even with the end of the car. So it should mount about like that. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this with my knife. So I have so I know where to cut.
Right. So I guess the real question, and that's the part that I was wondering about, is what are you going to cut that with?
Well, that depends. I think this piece is separate. Now, if I can get this out.
So it looks like you were right. It did come off as a separate piece.
Yeah, I just had to pry it with a screwdriver a little bit to get it off. And, of course, I had to take both trucks off. And I went ahead and busted off the coupler on the other end since it was hanging by a thread anyway.
Probably wasn't too hard, huh?
No, not hard at all. So I'm going to use a razor saw just to get a nice clean cut here.
Oh, well, that was easy.
Yeah, I'll just flip it around and do the other end. I'm going to neaten this up a little more with a file.
It's one of those wonderful sounds.
Yeah. The other thing I want to do is file the mounting area down a little bit so I have a nice clean area to work on. Right now it's got glue blobs all over it.
Glue blobs?
Yeah.
So you're going to just do this on both sides then?
Yeah. I'm going to use a drill bit just to mark where the hole goes. This will be the hole that's used for the mounting screw that holds the coupler box onto the car.
Oh, so you're going to have to tap that
Yeah.
and then run the screw into it. I get it.
Right. So now there's a little dent there, so I know where to drill. So I'm just using my fingers here because I want to make sure I don't melt the plastic.
If you put that on a high-speed tool and then turn into goo.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, so I'm just going slow. Probably would be a little easier if I had something with me to chuck the drill in for a little more leverage, but unfortunately I don't right now, because I left some of my tools at home. So
Well, we should mention it though.
Yeah, we'll just do it the hard way.
The box made it. Right?
Yeah.
That the tool lives in.
Right.
But unfortunately,
the tool wasn't in the box. This is what happens because I work at home on my own trains and then come down here to our studio to film stuff.
Yeah,
and
move it out of the way, Dan. Let's show everybody what we found when we opened the box. Hey!
Yeah, it's very useful to bring your motor tool box, but not the actual motor tool. So now that I've drilled the holes, I'm going to tap them for a 256 screw.
Don't need a tool for that, right? I mean, other than a tapping tool.
Just a tap wrench, yeah, and the tap itself, of course. Since I don't have a vise or anything like that with me, I'm using a block of wood. This probably isn't really the best way to do this, but it's the way I'm going to do it.
It's an adventure.
Yeah. What I did was these bottom parts of the coupler box have to be drilled out because a screw needs to go through here. So I drilled a little hole into the piece of wood so that I can put this into it and let it lay flat. And then I'm going to hold it. And I'm using a 3/32 drill bit to open up the hole.
So may not be the best way to do it, but it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Just got to be careful, go slow. So I ended up having to move up to a 7/64 drill bit for this hole because the drill bit that I used before wasn't quite big enough.
Okay.
So I reamed it out with that. And then I used a number 55 drill bit to drill out this little hole here in the upper part of the box.
Where does that for?
This holds, the coupler fits in here, and then this piece fits on this piece.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what you have to do is you have to put a screw in here to hold the thing together. And I found these small self-tapping screws. I'm not sure what size these are, but these were in my box of miscellaneous parts.
Uh-huh.
So basically just put this in and just screw it in, and it taps its own threads.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that one's ready to go now, or what?
Pretty much. I just have to, it takes a little muscle to get it through the first time. You don't want to do it too much because this is soft metal and it'll strip it real easily. But yeah, just like that. The only thing I found was that the screw sticks out a little bit, so I may have to cut those down a little.
What, did you use a file for that or what?
Yeah, probably that's the safest way to do it. I spent a little time filing down the screw because it was poking through the top here. So now it's pretty much flush. It's not perfect, but I think, this is going to be under the crossover platform.
Right.
And when it's all painted, you never see this. So
Okay.
I ended up having to open up this hole in the back just a little bit with a file to fit a 256 screw through it. So that's what I'm putting in here. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here just to help keep the coupler box from shifting.
Oh, is it because that black piece isn't totally flush with the metal mount?
Yeah, it might wiggle from side to side, so that'll help it. But the real strength is coming from the screw.
Yeah. Well, it won't wiggle now.
No.
You just want to make sure it's on straight, though, right? Because otherwise it still could be a little funky.
Yeah. So we'll check it. That looks pretty good, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's really important to have screws mounting the couplers because the force of the train is pulling and pushing on this.
Yeah.
And if there's a screw through it, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But if it's only glued, it can pull right out. I'm going to be using a whisker coupler in here, and I noticed that there was a little bit of flash on the inside. So I'm just going to make a few passes with a file to get rid of that because it can hang up the whiskers. They get stuck on that.
Yeah.
and then the coupler won't center.
Yeah, so it needs to be really clean inside there, huh?
Yeah. So that fits nicely now. This is a KD 158.
So I have a question while you're getting the next piece ready, whatever that is. And that is, I noticed that the new coupler box is just this shiny metal. What do you just look for pictures and then paint it the same color that was on the real car, I guess? Or
Yeah, you would touch this up. Or I may actually end up painting this whole car over again anyway.
Oh.
Because I'm not looking at the pictures and looking at the paint job. I'm not sure it seems to be that the Boxcar is actually fairly accurate, but I'm not sure the paint job is completely good.
Oh.
So I might want to repaint it, but I haven't decided that yet.
Yeah, but for the couplers though, because it's going to look funny having this big silver thing. You know?
I would just touch those up.
With what though?
Paint, and you could use a brush for this because it's a small part.
Okay,
or you could airbrush it.
Would it be the brown color or the black color?
You'd have to look at photographs. I think
okay.
For this paint job on this, I think it would be the mineral brown.
Yeah.
Santa Fe brown cars are usually overall brown.
That's really what I was trying to get at. I just thought it looked funny being all silver like that, and I didn't know, if you would like paint it some other color, or just weather it or something, so it looked more like what's really on.
Yeah, it would need to be painted. I'm also going to before I put the lid on, I'm going to put some KD Greaseum, which is just a graphite lubricant, in there.
I remember you used the graphite lubricant in the HO detailing and weathering rolling stock videos.
Yeah.
For the same reason.
That looks like it's pretty much there. Coupler swivels.
Yeah, very nicely.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I've got them mounted, and they seem to be working right. Now, of course, the coupler height is way off because the trucks are mismatched to this car, I think partly.
The trucks are easy to fix, though, right? Don't you just take them out with a screw and put new ones in?
Yeah, I'm not even sure that these Cato trucks are the correct type for this particular car.
If it's not a Cato Boxcar, it's
Yeah,
probably not.
I think whoever did this just threw it together. So that's another thing I can fix later. And of course, the car still has some cosmetic damage that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
But at least now it has coupler pockets that aren't going to fall off.
Yeah.
So this thing would actually handle being in a train.
Do you know what it was, Dan? Normally, if you did it right, it would be called a kit bash.
Uh-huh.
Well, I got two ideas. One of them I'm going to have to bleep out. So it's either a shit bash or a kit hack.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Or a hack bash or something.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like they just piecemealed it together out of junk that doesn't go.
Yeah.
And
why they cut off the coupler boxes in the first place, I don't know. But anyway.
I don't even know about this stuff, and I don't think I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, well, maybe one day we'll have this car on Dan's models after it's all finished, and maybe it'll look a lot better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2016 we'll have it return on Dan's models.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this video podcast, and we'll catch you on December 1st for our next video podcast. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks.